Welcome to the EPM add-in video on how to create dynamic filters for a report or input form. So let's say we want to create a report that only shows account type of income for a report. To do this, click New Report, drag the account dimension to the row axis, the time into the column, and then click on the account dimension. Remove what you currently have in the selected members and click this filter button. In the property section, select which property you want, in this case account type, the operator, equals, and then the values, income. Then we can click Add Dynamic Filter, and that's going to show our report of only income statement accounts. But what if we want to do this dynamically? Well, let's remove what we just did. Let's change our display to ID and description so we can see. And we'll just put the current context, show the current context. So, in B1, cell B1, we can type in a formula, EPM dimension property values. What that's going to allow us to do is show the properties of a certain dimension, the actual values of that dimension. So the dimension is going to be account, and the property is account type. And in what cell, we want to put this in cell D6. So now we have all the properties. So let's type in here so we know where it is. Enter values. Now, in order for this to work though, we need to override this report with this value. So we can utilize the EPM dimension override function. The report ID is 000 because this is the only report on this sheet. The dimension is going to be account. And for the members, you can either put base, self, dependents, but you can also write a filter. So here we're going to type in double quote, account type equals, and then ampersand, which concatenates a cell reference. So that cell reference is going to be D6. I'm going to click refresh. Now, based on this drop down, we'll have different accounts shown. This is great when the filter always stays the same. What if we don't know what the filter is or don't know what the property is? So there's a way around this. Or if we don't know what dimension they want to use. So let's type in enter dimension here and enter property. So let's create a couple more rows. So on our dimension, we can utilize the function EPM dimension list. And this will list out all the dimensions within your model. So in your range, we're going to put D6. So now we have all the dimensions. Now, for the properties, we can utilize the function EPM dimension property. The connection name is the model. The dimension is going to be D6. Our destination range, that means where do we want the properties to be displayed. So we're going to select A5 through A35. We want to put it A35 because we want to ensure all of our properties from all of our dimensions are displayed and it doesn't cut any of them off. So you can actually put this to A100 if you like. And the display ID, you can either display the friendly name or the technical name. One is the technical name. So now we have all of our properties for the account dimension. So if we change our account dimension to category, our properties change. So I created this from A5 to A35. What we need to do now is create a named range encompassing those rows. So we're going to highlight A5 through A35. I'm going to call this dim prop. So now that's our named range. So when we click over here and go to dim prop, it highlights all of our cells within that named range. Now in D7, we need to create a data validation that encompasses all of this information. So on our data tab, we're going to click data validation and create a list, and our source is equals dim prop, or our named range. So now we have all of our properties. Now you'll see this bottom one right there, that's the ID. So that's the actual internal description of the ID, of the member ID. So we can do account type, or we can do H level, any of these properties. If we change it to category, then this will also change as well. And now, so if we change to calc, now the reason why this didn't change is because we hard-coded the information up here, account on our, I'm sorry, not our dimension override, and our property values. So we will need to change this. So in our EPM dimension property values, instead of account, we want to show D6, whatever dimension is selected, and our property value is going to be whatever is selected also, which is going to be D7. So now we have calc, and then we have the proper values now. So if we change this to entity, we can see currency, and then our different currencies that we've put in. Now, on our dimension property, or our dimension override, this is not going to work because if we change the dimension, we'll also need it needs to know that. So if it's always going to be the same dimension, then the dimension override is going to be correct. But if you're going to be changing the actual dimension, then we need to change this to EPM axis override. So if we change the dimension to axis override, and our axis, our row axis, we need to select our dimension, and for what we want to display, instead of account type equals, it's going to be D7 and percent equals and percent D8. Whoops. Let's try this again. So EPM access override. Report ID is 000. Our row access is true. Our dimension is entity, and our members are going to be D7 ampersand double quote equals double quote D8. So now if we have our values, and now we click refresh, it will show in the rows only the values with this property of this dimension. So now we can go back to prod line, select calc, and our values of no, click refresh, and now we have a 100% dynamic report based off of any property of any dimension. Account type, and we can go back here, and everything is absolutely 100% dynamic. I hope this helps you in creating reports based on dynamic filters within the EPM add-in.